Every day I pass by, I go home, I see this dog being chained outside in the hot sun, suffering. And then one day I just decided, no, I have to do something because no one else is going to do anything. I left a note, by the dog, hoping that the owner would contact me, and she did. And basically I convinced her to give the dog to me. So then I took in the dog into my tiny, tiny apartment. And then basically I kept the dog for a few months, but he was really old, and then he had heartworms. So at the end, I made a very difficult decision to have him euthanized because he was basically in pain and suffering. But after that experience, I really, it occurred to me that everybody can do something, and it's not that difficult. You just have to spend a little time and believe that you can do something. My name is Connie Chang, and I'm one of the co-founders of the TaiwanSPCA. Originally, we started almost 9 years ago. It was me, my sister, and one other co-founder. So we started rescuing street animals and bringing them to get treated for their health and then get them readopted. And then slowly we decided that we needed to get legalized in Taiwan in order to legally fundraise and to allow the association to grow. A lot of Taiwanese people want purebred dogs. So they would only want a certain type of breed, French bulldogs, Shih Tzus, poodles. So that's why the pet stores still exist. And that's why there are so many pet breeders. But then when it comes to, for example, the animals in the shelters, they're mostly mixed dogs. So, usually strays. So these mixed dogs are not as popular in Taiwan. Or like we call it Taiwan Tugou, which is like the Taiwan breed, the black dogs. They're not as popular. So even for us, when we try to adopt black dogs, it takes us sometimes a few years to find a adopter who is willing to take a mixed dog or a Taiwanese Tugou. So yeah, I think it just also goes down to education. Some people just only want purebreds. They only like purebreds. They don't want to adopt these mixed dogs. A lot of Taiwanese people don't believe in euthanization. They think it's cruel, and they think that it's unnecessary and it won't solve the stray animal issue. So the no-kill policy was passed about a year ago. The problem is if the stray animal population problem is not solved, then this policy really doesn't do much for animal welfare in Taiwan, because there are all these animals on the streets that are having puppies. So right now, a lot of the animal groups are pushing for what we call TNR. I don't know if you've heard of the term, but it's basically trap, neuter, and release of stray animals. And then once they're neutered, we place the stray animals back on the streets of where they were found. This, of course, it's good because it stops them from reproducing. But the other problem is the public, not everybody would support this idea, because a lot of people just basically don't want to see stray dogs or stray cats in their neighborhood. So I think another big issue is try to push education on the issue. Try to educate people why TNR is necessary and why just catching animals into shelters is not going to solve the problem long term. If they don't start doing nationwide TNR, then the situation is going to get a lot worse, because there are more animals being born, but not enough shelter space. Adoption rates are not increasing. So, the government really has to step up and decide whether or not they want to support TNR, or if they have any other methods to control the stray dog population. But something has to be done, and done really quickly. I think if someone wants to help a stray animal, I mean, first of all, is if you see a stray animal injured, or sick, see if you could do something right away. Maybe you could take the animal to a nearby clinic or a nearby vet, because you're the person on site. You're the first person that can provide immediate help to this animal. Or if you really can't, then you could also contact organizations like us, SPCA, or other rescue groups, or even the government. They have animal rescue team that could go and help the animal. But I mean, the most important thing is just don't walk away. Try to think of what you can do. And also another thing is, if you ever decide on having a pet, maybe consider adopting instead of purchasing one from a pet store, because there are just so many animals in shelters that are waiting for homes, and they're just as cute as a purebred, and just as friendly